Discover the incredible power of an empty mind, a life-changing story revealed to inspire you. In a small suburb of Ohio, the air hummed with unspoken burdens, shadows threading through the lives of its residents. Sam, a devoted father in his mid-40s, stood at the intersection of struggle and hope. A grease-stained mechanic by day and a weary grocery clerk by night, he worked tirelessly to uplift his spirited teenage daughter, Emily. The ghost of Sam's wife loomed large, casting an eternal shadow since her battle with illness ended too soon. Alone in their modest home, Sam survived on grit and long hours, scraping together every penny to nurture Emily's dreams of college, hoping to fulfill the ambitions they had once shared as a family, but the whispers from the tight-knit community seeped in like cold air, serving as reminders of expectations resting heavy on his shoulders. Emily, once vibrant and enthusiastic, had shrunk into the corners of her own mind, the weight of her mother's absence and the pressure to excel suffocating her. The joy on her face had transformed into a distant memory, each day blending into the next fueled by anxiety and despair. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sam's eyes fell upon a flyer wedged into an old stack of papers. Mindfulness Retreat, discover the transformative power of an empty mind. The idea flickered like hope, a chance for Emily to take a breath, to heal. Despite his skepticism, he grasped the opportunity, certain that perhaps this was the lifeline they needed. Arriving at the retreat, the serene atmosphere swaddled them, promising a break from reality. But peace quickly unraveled as facades began to crack. "This is pointless, Dad," Emily scoffed with a dismissive wave, her eyes clouded with frustration. Sam's heart sank, feeling her rejection as acutely as any physical blow. "Emily. Just give it a chance," he urged, his voice tight with desperation. Their argument erupted in a flurry of hurt feelings and unmet expectations. "You don't even understand." Emily's voice echoed, reverberating through the hush of the retreat. "I'm trying to hold it together here, and all you do is push." Sam met her fiery gaze, realizing he was more afraid than he ever admitted. "I'm doing my best. But it feels like I'm failing you, failing your mother." The rawness of that admission hung in the air, heavy with vulnerability. The participants turned, their expressions caught between surprise and empathy. In that shared moment of silence, the reality of their struggles shone starkly. Sam and Emily stood on the precipice of understanding, hovering between pain and connection. They were two fractured souls, bound together yet worlds apart, caught in the tug of expectations, his as a provider, and hers as a daughter lost in grief. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. That long ride home felt heavier than normal, silence stretching between them like a chasm filled with unspoken fears. Sam pulled into their driveway, his heart racing with uncertainty. Could they break free from the weight of expectations? Could healing come from that dizzying moment of vulnerability? As they looked at each other, both wondered if they could bridge the growing gap before it swallowed them whole. Would they find a way back before it was too late? The questions lingered in the air, ripe with possibility yet fraught with doubt. The next few days felt like a delicate dance, each step weighed down by an unspoken tension. Sam tried to reach out to Emily, but every conversation turned sticky, like honey clinging to their words. He found himself hesitant, afraid to push too hard but equally desperate not to let her sink any deeper into that abyss. One evening, while tidying up the clutter in the living room, Sam stumbled upon an old photo album. It was dusty and nearly forgotten, but something pulled him to it. He slid it off the shelf and opened it, revealing a world of laughter and forgotten moments, beach trips, birthday cakes, and family outings. Emily's bright smile radiated from the pages, untouched by grief. Sam traced the photographs with a finger, a warm wave of nostalgia washing over him. Hesitating, he wandered downstairs. Maybe it would help to share this moment with her. With every step, anticipation and worry twisted in his gut. When Sam found Emily, she was stretched out on her bed, earbuds in, music drowning out her thoughts. He cleared his throat to get her attention. "Hey, Em, can I show you something?" he asked softly. She pulled out an earbud, choosing to look at him as if weighing his request. "What is it?" He held out the album, expecting a grimace or a reluctant sigh. Instead, her curious brow furrowed as she shuffled closer. Once they were settled side by side on the bed, he carefully turned the pages. One picture at a time, he watched her expressions morph from indifference to curiosity. There was a hint of warmth when her gaze landed on a snapshot taken on a family camping trip, their faces illuminated by the crackle of a campfire under a blanket of stars. "Wow," she whispered, a smile breaking through her normally guarded demeanor. "I remember this. I felt so free." "Me too," Sam said, a flicker of hope igniting in his heart. "We had so many good times. We can get back to that, if you want." Emily paused, a shadow crossing her face. "But Mom's not here, Dad. How do we do all that without her?" The words sliced through Sam, each syllable heavy with all they had lost. "We don't do it without her," Sam replied gently. "She is still part of our memories. And she would want us to keep living, to keep exploring." He reached for Emily's hand, hoping the connection could bridge the gap between their hurt. Her breath hitched, and for a moment, he thought he saw a shimmer of acceptance in her eyes. Yet, it quickly faded as quickly as it appeared. "It's not that easy for me, Dad. I can't just forget her and act like everything is fine." "I'm not asking you to forget anything," he said, squeezing her hand tighter. "I just want us to remember together. We can carve a new path, just us." That night, after they set the photo album on a small shelf, a silence settled over the room, thick and comforting. Sam knew the walls were still steeped in loss, yet there was a fragile thread of hope hanging in the air. Maybe they could start small, rebuild slowly from the ashes of grief, but as the days turned into a week, Emily's spirit still seemed tethered to her sorrow. Sam woke up early one Saturday morning, feeling a certain resolve. He went to the kitchen, foggy but determined. He reached for a pencil and paper, mapping out a plan in his mind. He wanted to surprise Emily, introduce an adventure that could distract her, something that might reclaim a piece of joy in their lives. Little did he know that the moment he would confront the past, both his and hers, was closer than he realized. He could still hear Emily stirring in her room, and as he penned down ideas, a wave of determination washed over him. What could he do to turn this around? Would it open the doors to their healing, or drive them further apart? Just then, a noise outside caught his attention. Sam looked out, and the sight sent a chill down his spine. A group of strangers was gathering in the park across the street, their faces a mix of excitement and anticipation. Holding colorful flyers in their hands, they were drawing attention, amplifying his worries. What were they planning, and would it affect his efforts to revive their connection? Sam's heart began to race as curiosity gripped him. With so many questions bubbling to the surface, he couldn't shake the thought, could this be an opportunity to bring them closer, or would it add to their already complicated lives? An adventure awaited, and Sam couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. The day wore on, and the group in the park began to stir. As the sun climbed higher, the buzz of excitement grew louder, a pulsing energy that seeped through the windows and into Sam's mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was happening out there might be just what he needed to help Emily reconnect with the world. Against the backdrop of a lonely house, the laughter and shouts were both enticing and intimidating. Sam squared his shoulders. He had to know what was going on. With a quick glance back at the stairwell leading to Emily's room, he made a decision. He slipped on his sneakers and stepped outside, the familiar heat of the sun warming his skin. The grass was emerald green, sprinkled with flecks of daisies swaying in the wind, and as he crossed the street, the scene before him unfolded like a story waiting to be told. The group was mostly kids and their parents, bright banners fluttering overhead, announcing a community family fun day. There were bouncy houses, games, and a small stage where a sign read, "Talent Show, Join Us." Sam felt a rush of memories hit him, the kind filled with laughter, excitement, and fun. He could envision Emily sporting her favorite dress, a floral affair she loved wearing for every outing. As if reading his mind, a familiar voice called out to him. It was Ms. Dawson, their neighbor and the unofficial mayor of the block. "Sam! Come join us. We're hoping to get everyone out here. It's been a tough year, and we thought a community day might lift some spirits." Her enthusiasm sparked a thought. This could be the adventure he needed to finally bring Emily out of her cave. Maybe if he could get her hear the laughter, the games, it would reach her heart, break the icy grip of sorrow. "Great idea, Ms. Dawson. I'll try to convince Em," he called back, determination etched on his face as he walked back home, feeling lighter, his mind racing with possibilities. Once inside, he made his way to Emily's room, knocking softly on the door. "Em. Can I come in?" The door creaked open just a smidge, enough for him to see her looking down at her phone, an expression of indifference painted across her features. "Dad, I wait, before you say anything." Listen to this. He took a deep breath, then spoke fast as excitement bubbled up. "There's a community fun day at the park. Lots of games and a talent show. I thought it might be a great chance for us to get out, just like we used to. What do you think?" She didn't respond immediately. Sam could feel her resisting, walls coming up again. He could see the thoughts churning behind her eyes. And, for a moment, he feared he had pushed too hard. "Please, Em. I know it's tough, but..." His voice softened. "It doesn't have to take away from what we've lost. We can remember Mom and still enjoy today." Emily finally looked at him, her gaze dropping to the ground before flicking back to his eyes, uncertainty dancing across her face. "But it's out there, with all those people." Her hesitation struck a nerve. It was as if she was searching for a way out, and he knew that he had to make this count. "It could be fun. And if it's overwhelming, we can leave, I promise. But let us just try." For her. The silence stretched between them, heavy and tense. Sam's heart thumped loudly in his chest, the weight of that moment feeling monumental. "Okay, maybe just for a little while," she murmured at last. "Just a little while." Sam echoed, delight spilling over him. He couldn't contain his smile as he took a step back, letting her space settle comfortably. As they prepared to leave, Sam felt a flicker of hope glowing just a bit brighter. But what would they find at the fun day? Would it help lift Emily's gloom, or would it leave them both feeling more lost? With each step toward the park, Sam couldn't shake the high stakes of what lay ahead. An adventure awaited, and with it, uncertainty clung to them like the heat of the sun, promising both joy and a challenge threatening to rear its head just beyond the laughter. What surprises loomed around that corner? That's something they would soon find out. As they stepped into the park, the world transformed around them. The thumping bass of music vibrated through Sam's chest, and in the air, the scents of popcorn and cotton candy floated temptingly. Families laughed together, their joy spilling over like lemonade in the heat. Sam wanted to breathe it all in, but all he could think about was Emily's reaction. Emily stood slightly behind him, her fingers nervously fidgeting with the hem of her shirt, her eyes darting from one cluster of sunlit activity to another. He sensed her anxiety wrapping around them like a thick fog. This was the moment for him to act right, to lead her rather than let her retreat into herself. "Hey, what do you think? Do you want to check out that bouncy house?" He motioned toward the colorful inflatable structure, kids soaring into the air with joy. "Isn't that for little kids?" She tilted her head, feigning disinterest, but Sam caught the flicker of curiosity in her eyes. "Who cares? We can be a little silly. Remember that time you bounced so high, you thought you could fly?" He chuckled, his voice light, teasing her gently, that got her just a small spark of a smile. "That was ages ago," she mumbled, but he could hear the slightest hint of amusement in her tone. "Come on," he insisted, and with that, he started walking toward it. He could feel her hesitance hold her back, but victory was in the air, and he wasn't about to let it slip away. After some coaxing and gentle nudging, they reached the edge of the bouncy house. As kids scrambled past them, shrieking with laughter, Sam turned and lowered his voice. "Just a few minutes of fun. If it's too much, we'll go get ice cream or something. Deal?" Emily bit her lip, her resolve wavering. "Okay, but just for a little bit," she whispered, and Sam nearly jumped in delight. They climbed inside, and the moment they entered, everything seemed lighter. The laughter enveloped them, echoing against the walls filled with bouncing bodies. Emily's eyes widened, a mixture of apprehension and excitement dancing across her face. "See? Not so scary," he said, feeling a rush of adrenaline as they propelled into a playful bounce. Emily followed, and laughter spilled out, raw and unfiltered. Sam's heart swelled. He saw that warmth returning, infectiously shining in her eyes. They jumped higher and higher, and for the first time in what felt like years, he could almost forget the void that had consumed their lives since Mom left them behind. "That's it. Higher," he encouraged, and she leaped, the world blurring around her. Laughter rang in the air purer than he could remember. Just as things seemed to stabilize, Emily slipped, tumbled down, and landed with a soft thud on the cushioned floor. Sam's heartbeat quickened as he rushed to her side, his smile faltering. Are you okay?" She lay there for a brief second, her expression shadowed with embarrassment. Just as he feared she might plunge into deeper sadness, her lips curled, and a giggle built before bursting out. "Did you see that? I was like a flying pancake," she blurted, laughter bubbling over. Her laugh echoed, rich and beautiful just like it used to be. Relief washed over him, and he joined her in laughter. Just for a moment, the fear of loss melted away, replaced by the fleeting joy of shared silliness. As they climbed out of the bouncy house, flushed from laughter and music, Sam felt a weight lift. Maybe today could transform their world, at least for a few hours. But as they headed towards the stage where the talent show was just about to begin, the reality of Emily's vulnerability loomed large in his thoughts. What if she couldn't handle the spotlight? "Let us just be spectators for now," he said, putting a hand on her shoulder, acknowledging her hesitation. But something in her gaze told him that the next step might not just be about observing from the sidelines. Could this be a chance for her to finally break free, to unveil hidden talents even he hadn't known existed? What awaited them on that stage? Would Emily's heart overcome her doubts? They were close now, and the moment of truth was about to arrive. The crowd around the stage pulsed with excitement, the electric energy feeding into every nervous heartbeat. Sam felt Emily's shoulder tense beneath his hand. He could sense the rising anxiety within her, even if her eyes fixated on the performers warming up. A group of kids juggled flaming batons, their faces lit with determination and joy, while others showcased their talents in singing and dancing. Every cheer and applause seemed to amplify Emily's tension. "Hey," Sam said softly, pulling her a little closer, "it's just a show. We can just enjoy it together, no pressure." She nodded half-heartedly, shadows lingering in her eyes. The laughter from the bouncy house faded into the background, its escape feeling worlds away. As they found a patch of grass near the stage, Emily sat and hugged her knees to her chest. Sam's heart sank. This wasn't the carefree Emily he just glimpsed. He wanted to carry her laughter from the bouncy house into this vibrant space, but she seemed locked away in her worries. "What if I were up there?" she said suddenly, glancing at the stage with a frown. "I would just freeze. What if I messed up? Or what if you shone?" Sam countered, trying to keep his tone light. "Remember all those times you amazed everyone at school? You've got talent. You always have." But when she looked back at him, Sam saw the heaviness in her expression, the doubt in her heart. "That was different. I'm not that person anymore." The first act began, a group of kids who danced with wild abandon. Sam noticed how Emily's grip on her knees tightened as their infectious joy filled the air. He wanted to reach out, to tell her that this could be her moment too, but he also wanted to honor her feelings. After all, pushing too hard wouldn't help. "Do you want to take a little walk?" he asked gently, trying to shift her thoughts. With a small sigh, she nodded, and together, they ambled along the edge of the crowd, taking in the sights and sounds of the fair. They strolled past food stalls, the aroma of kettle corn wafting in the air, mingling with the sweet, sticky allure of caramel apples. Sam bought 2 slices of pizza, the gooey cheese stretching tantalizingly. With each bite, he watched Emily's shoulders begin to relax. The laughter of the crowd and the upbeat music wrapped them like a familiar blanket. Maybe they didn't need to push boundaries today, perhaps it was enough for her to simply feel comfortable. "Look at that," he pointed to a small talent booth, where kids were trying their hands at different crafts and skills. "I wish I could juggle, but I'd probably end up smashing my face." Emily let out a softer chuckle, her laughter returning in small, hesitant bursts. "You'd be a pretty funny juggler, though." Suddenly, the announcer stepped up to the mic, his voice booming over the crowd. "And now, let us introduce our next talent, a young girl who has been practicing her singing all summer, and we can't wait to see what she has in store." The spotlight cut through the air like a bright blade, and Sam saw Emily freeze in place. For a fleeting moment, her eyes widened, a deep understanding passing between them, a silent fear of vulnerability that mirrored the stage's glow. "Look," he said, his voice steady and gentle, "it's just a chance to express yourself. You don't have to be perfect. It's just about being brave." Her gaze remained glued to the stage as the girl's soft voice broke through the crowd, clear and beautiful. It held a rawness that resonated deep within Sam. "What if that girl is terrified?" Emily whispered, her disappointment creeping back. "That's the thing," he said, caught up in the moment, "it doesn't matter. What matters is taking that leap and being who you are, despite the fear." The girl on stage stumbled over a note but recovered, laughter erupting from the audience. It was a fleeting moment of connection that reminded everyone that imperfections are what make life beautiful. As the song continued, Emily turned to Sam, her eyes teeming with something he couldn't quite place, a longing, perhaps, or hope. Would you ever sing with me?" she asked hesitantly, the words trembling in the air between them. Sam's heart raced. The spark of opportunity flickered. Would she really consider it? But even more pressing, was he ready to step into the spotlight with her? And just as he opened his mouth to reply, the unexpected happened. Emily took a deep breath, her chin raised a fraction higher, infection lighting her expression. "Maybe I could try." What did that mean? Was she finally ready to step onto the stage of her own life? The possibilities stretched out in front of them like the fairgrounds, brimming with uncertainty yet glistening with potential. The rhythm of the fair beat like a drum in the background as Sam absorbed her words. Maybe I could try. The simple thought hung in the air, both terrifying and exhilarating. He could see the pulse of her courage, not fully formed yet, but present, fighting to break free. "What do you mean, try?" he asked, keeping his voice steady. Emily hesitated, her gaze flickering back to the stage. The young girl had just finished her song, and the crowd erupted with applause. "I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could do a small part. Just away from everyone. Like, just you." A swell of warmth ignited within him. "I'd be there if you wanted," he said, a smile breaking free across his face. "You won't be alone." She searched his eyes for reassurance, and he felt himself leaning into that moment, wanting to pull her light back. "What if we just sing something together? Something fun?" he suggested, feeling the risk settle now as palpable excitement pierced through their connection. The light began to glow behind her uncertainty, a glimmer of hope and tentative excitement slowly shaping her into the person he always knew she could be. "What do you even like to sing? Maybe something from that old movie?" she offered, her lips curling in a shy smile. "Yes. That one." He clapped his hands together, their energy bouncing between them. I love it when she sings on the rooftop. It makes everything feel possible. Why can't we have our own moment like that? The idea ignited something bright in Emily's eyes. That could be fun. A little rooftop concert, just for us. She laughed, her confidence dancing through the air. They moved just beyond the crowd, finding a small space that felt like their private bubble amidst the chaos of the fair, where the colorful lights twinkled against the setting sun. Sam grabbed his phone, popping on a track, the catchy melody filling the air. He took a breath, trying to drown out the nervous thrum of his heart. "Just follow my lead," he said as he started singing the first lines, his voice shaky but full of energy. Emily hesitated, her face flushing, but then the small smile returned. Slowly, she found her place, her voice blending softly into his. They sang together, laughter bubbling up with each silly mistake. But as they settled into a comfortable flow, the moment felt charged. Sam caught a glimpse of the glee in Emily's eyes, and with each verse, he saw the layers of her fear peel away. The magic of sharing something so natural cemented the bond they had, one of trust, where she could come alive, free from expectations. Then, midway through the song, something shifted. Emily's voice faltered, and his heart sank as he watched her face cloud over again. Doubts rushed back in. What if they hear us? She gasped, pulling back, embarrassment flooding her cheeks. Who cares? Let them hear. Sam exclaimed, feeling the urge to protect her light. They're all just having fun, like us. She bit her lip, torn between wanting to escape and wanting to linger in the joy they just created. Sam took a step closer, his heart pounding. You are amazing, Em. No one can take that from you. Each note is a little piece of you, and it's beautiful. The truth hung unfulfilled in the air, pulsating with potential. Would she listen? Could she break through this cocoon of fear? Okay, just do it again, she said, the resolve in her voice sparking a little warmth in his chest. As they began again, off-key but bursting with authenticity, the air felt lighter, laughter bubbling forth where insecurity once loomed. Suddenly, a duo from the talent booth wandered nearby, their attention caught by the sound. And as they turned their heads, Sam's heart stopped. What if they laughed? What if they made her freeze again? But before he could speak, Emily took a deep breath and sang even louder, her voice rising above the rest. The fear seemed to disintegrate as a new fire ignited within her. But the duo didn't laugh. Instead, they clapped along, drawing more eyes. Look at that, one girl called out, they sound great. Sam's heart raced. Emily's spark glimmered brighter as she caught the attention. What if this is just the beginning? He wondered, watching her face transform with newfound confidence, pushing against the boundaries that once held her back. With the crowd building behind them, excitement bubbling through the air like fizzing soda, Sam felt a swell of anticipation rise within. What if this led to something bigger? A performance? A duet? But as he turned to share his thoughts with Emily, her eyes were still drawn to the crowd, a mix of exhilaration and fear flashing across her face. What would she choose next? Would she embrace the moment or shy away again? The question lingered as the spotlight not only illuminated the stage but the very path beneath their feet, beckoning for them to take the next step. The crowd's energy shifted around them, a palpable buzz that echoed their words and laughter. Emily's eyes darted between the growing audience and Sam's encouraging smile, the thrill and terror weaving a tightrope in her chest. Okay, she whispered, and Sam couldn't tell if it was a declaration or a plead. He kept his gaze locked on hers, searching for that flicker of courage he had seen moments before. You got this, Em, he urged, his voice steady. Just remember this moment. You are more than your fear. Drawing a deep breath, she let the melody wrap around her, pushing the doubts to the back of her mind. The melody floated through the air, enchanting like fireflies at dusk. In that instant, the chaos around them faded as she found her voice, stronger this time, mixing with his in a harmonious blend. More people stopped to listen. Curiosity sparked in their eyes, like stars igniting the night sky. The applause from the earlier pair grew infectious, spreading to a few in the crowd who began to sway to the rhythm of their song, creating an unexpected sense of unity. Emily's confidence surged, each note she sang seemed to erase the weight of apprehension she had carried for so long. She caught a glimpse of Sam, his eyes bright with admiration and pride. It fueled her. She pushed through the lyrics, her voice cutting through the twilight like a warm embrace. When they finished, a hush fell over the tiny crowd before it erupted into cheers and claps. Emily stood frozen, disbelief sweeping across her features, and Sam felt his heart swell as he watched. That radiant smile reappeared, lighting up her face. It was a moment he wished would never end. He wanted to capture it forever. "See? I told you!" he exclaimed, enthusiasm bubbling over. "You were incredible." Emily's laugh rang out, pure and unguarded. "I can't believe I did that. They actually liked it." Her eyes sparkled like the fair's bright lights, but amid the rush of joy, doubt crept back. "What if I mess up next time?" The breath she took was shaky, the vulnerability seeping back in. Sam stepped closer, the sound of the fair dwindling into the background. "No matter what happens, you won't be alone. We'll figure it out together. One step at a time." His assurance hung heavy in the air, wrapped in warmth. She looked around, noting the support radiating from the audience, a comforting embrace that steeled her resolve. Okay. Let us try again." His heart raced with a mix of excitement and concern. He never expected this surge of courage from Emily or for her to want more. "You want to go again right now?" he asked, hope spilling out in each word. "Why not?" She smiled, a glimmer of mischief in her eye. It was the kind of spark he always believed was within her, waiting for just the right moment to shine. As they prepared for another round, the crowd's anticipation grew. Voices chimed in with words of encouragement, echoing Sam's earlier sentiments. A little girl in the front raised her hands, a bright grin on her face, mimicking a conductor. "Sing again!" she shouted, and the crowd rallied behind her. Together, they dove into another song, Emily leading now, her heart free from chains that had bound her for so long. With each note, she stepped deeper into her power, no longer just a shadow but a force of nature. The moment surged forward, and amidst the applause and laughter, Sam couldn't help but feel the pulse of change coursing between them. What started as a daring idea, singing a song together, had blossomed into something so much bigger. But just as they finished their second song, tapping into an energy that felt electric, the talent booth duo pushed through the crowd toward them with excited grins. "Let us see where this takes us," one of them called out, eyes twinkling with promise and recognition. Sam's breath caught. What did that mean? Were they really headed for something more? He glanced at Emily, reading the questions etched on her face. Was she ready to embrace whatever came next? Suddenly, the fair didn't just feel like a backdrop but a stage barely beginning to unfold. What if the journey ahead unraveled even more dreams? What if this was just the beginning of a much bigger performance? As the crowd grew, and their world expanded, only one thought hung between them, brimming with possibility: what if it led them somewhere they never imagined? As the applause faded, the air crackled with anticipation, mingling with the scents of caramel corn and fried dough. Emily's heart danced, her pulse still racing from the thrill of their performance. Sam grinned, a mix of pride and disbelief written all over his face. It was as if the crowd had been holding its breath, and now they exhaled together, a symphony of cheers and claps. "Let us go talk to them," Sam said, tugging on Emily's hand, his excitement palpable. He could sense her uncertainty lingering, like the shadow of a passing storm cloud. Emily hesitated for just a moment. The hugs and encouragement from the crowd still wrapped around her like a warm blanket, but the prospect of what lay ahead felt different. What if they were asking for more than just a performance? What if this leap toward the unknown ended in disappointment? "Are you sure?" she asked, casting a quick glance at the talent booth. "They wouldn't approach us if they didn't see something special," Sam reassured her, squeezing her hand gently. You shined up there. Let us see where it leads. Taking a deep breath, Emily nodded. They moved through the crowd, the energy buoying them along, her nerves fading with every step. Reaching the booth, the duo, two men in their late 20s, one bearded and rough around the edges, the other sharp-featured with a sparkle in his eye, grinned like kids who just found a stash of candy. You two were fantastic. The bearded one exclaimed. I'm Jake, and this is Matt. We look for fresh talent all the time, and what you did. It was incredible. Emily's cheeks flushed. You really think so? Absolutely. You have this natural appeal. Matt chimed in, excitement boiling over. We think you two could totally rock it on a bigger stage. How do you feel about possibly recording something? Sam's breath hitched at Matt's words. Could it be true? Emily's expression mirrored his disbelief, wide eyes and parted lips signaling a mix of hope and fear. Recording like, a real song. She stammered, each word hanging heavy in the air. Exactly. We've got connections in the industry. But it's not just about you singing, it's about creating magic together, a vibe. Jake leaned in with enthusiasm. The chemistry you two have is something we don't see every day. Emily glanced at Sam, her heart racing, caught between dreams and the safety of familiarity. But what if we can't do it? What if everything falls flat? Jake nodded, understanding in his gaze. Hey, every great artist meets fears and setbacks. That's part of the journey. The question is, are you willing to step out and explore? For a moment, silence enveloped them, and Emily could feel her heart thundering like an unbridled horse. Memories of her earlier fears clashed with the exhilaration that had enveloped her on stage. Sam's fingers interlaced with hers, grounding her amidst the rising tide of emotions churning within. We could do it, he said softly, his voice steady. Whatever the outcome, we'll be in it together. Emily's thoughts swirled, a whirlwind of possibilities colliding with the remnants of her insecurities. And at that moment, the notion of embracing the unknown looked less like a daunting obstacle and more like an open door beckoning her to step through. All right, she breathed, her voice finding strength. Let us go for it. Cheers erupted from the pair. Strong arms reached out, inviting them into the fold of creative promise. As they began discussing the next steps, Emily felt a warmth spreading through her, a hope ignited by the idea of possibilities, but just when the weight of excitement started to settle in her chest, a figure in the crowd caught her eye, an older man, face obscured by shadows, watching intently. His expression was unreadable. As if sensing her gaze, he turned, disappearing into the throng. Everything okay? Sam asked, breaking her focus. Yeah, Emily said, her voice trailing off. Something tugged at her, a feeling she couldn't shake, a whisper creeping in. What if this newfound journey led to something unforeseen, something that tested the very fabric of her courage, shaking off? The unease, she turned back to Sam, who was wrapping up plans with Jake and Matt, and tried to embrace the positivity surrounding them. Yet the image of the man lingered, an unanswered question hanging in the air. What did he want? And what would they really discover together as their adventure began? The energy in the talent booth crackled with ideas and ambitions, but Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something essential was missing. As Jake and Matt dove into the nitty-gritty of recording contracts, she felt the world blurring around her. Every detail of the booth, the sticky floors, the colorful posters, the rhythmic tinkling of laughter from the fairgoers faded into a dull roar, and she was left with just her thoughts. Emily. You with us? Sam's voice pulled her back. She glanced at him, his eyes bright with excitement. It was clear he was ready to dive headfirst into this new adventure. Yeah, I'm here, she replied, but the words felt distant, as if they belonged to someone else. She offered a smile, trying to match his enthusiasm, but inside, tension knotted her stomach. We're so excited to start this journey, Jake continued, his voice animated. Once we nail the recording process, we'll aim for a few gigs. could lead to opening for a well-known band. Picture it, you two, on stage, thousands of fans singing along to your music. The thought sent a thrill through Sam, but Emily felt it waver. Could they really move that fast? Her mind was a kaleidoscope of hope and worry, swirling in dizzying patterns. She forced herself to concentrate. What are the next steps? She asked, a hint of determination in her voice. Matt shuffled through a briefcase, pulling out papers. First, we'll need to finalize the song choice, something that embodies what you two stand for. The lyrics should resonate with your story. As they flipped through a list of songs, Emily studied Sam. He was grinning, his eyes alight with dreams. She wanted that energy to seep into her, but the shadowy figure loomed in her mind, threading a strand of doubt through her excitement. What about the visuals? The branding? She asked, wanting to feel more grounded in their choices. Great question. Matt replied, appreciating her initiative. We want to create a strong image that connects to your music. Think about what you want the audience to feel when they see you perform. The brainstorming continued, but the knot in Emily's stomach twisted tighter. Each suggestion felt both exhilarating and suffocating. With every mention of fame, the pressure intensified. One misstep could unravel this whole dream. Let's take a break, Sam said suddenly, sensing her distress. How about we step outside for a moment? Emily nodded gratefully, relief flooding her as they ventured into the vibrant fairground. Bright lights twinkled above, laughter and chatter surrounded them, and the intoxicating scent of funnel cakes wafted through the air. Sam turned to her, concern laced in his expression. What is going on? He asked softly, brushing back a strand of hair from her forehead. I don't know, she admitted, voice trembling. I'm excited, but also scared. What if I can't handle this? What if it's bigger than we imagined? Sam took her hands in his, grounding her. You don't have to do this alone. We'll figure it out together. Remember the magic we felt on stage? This is just the start. Nobody expects perfection right away. His words ignited warmth inside her, yet the image of that shadowy figure crept back into her thoughts. Who was he? Why did he linger in her mind? Let us not forget why we're here, Sam continued, squeezing her hands. To share our music. That's what matters most, right? Emily nodded, taking a small breath. Yeah, it is. Just I feel like something's off. It's like there's a challenge waiting, but I can't see it yet. Maybe it's just a sign to trust ourselves and our journey, Sam suggested, drawing her closer. No matter what happens, I believe in you. We've always found our way back to the music. His unwavering support wrapped around her like a lifeline, but as they stood together amidst the chaos of the fair, that nagging intuition still lingered. What was truly out there, waiting for them? And would they be ready when it came knocking at their door? The next days flew by on the wings of excitement and uncertainty. Emily and Sam dove into their newfound adventure. They spent afternoons recording in a small studio downtown, surrounded by friendly faces and a buzzing energy that thrummed in the air. With every melody, Emily felt the weight of her mother's absence lift a little more. The joy of creation sparked new life in her heart, intertwining with the memories of laughter and warmth. Yet, the shadow of doubt loomed. Each song they recorded felt like a glimpse into a future she had always longed for, but the fear of what lay ahead stirred in her gut. Would she freeze under pressure? Could she truly carry forward the legacy of her mother, the artist whose spirit danced in every note they created? One chilly afternoon, they took a break from recording and headed to the park nearby. The trees rustled overhead, and the sunlight flickered through the branches, casting playful shadows on the ground. Sitting on a bench, Sam turned to Emily, his eyes searching for the flicker of confidence he'd begun to see in her. He began, this has been amazing, hasn't it? You're growing, shining like I always knew you would. Emily smiled, the warmth of his words filling her with hope. But she hesitated, her fingers twisting in her lap. What if I can't keep this up, Dad? What if I let you down? What if it all goes wrong? Fear is normal, he replied gently. But you have to use that fear as fuel. Remember that moment on stage, when you embraced your voice and let the world hear you? His words lingered in the air, and her mind flashed back to the applause, to the laughter, to the thrill of their performance. Could she really reclaim that? With delicate vulnerability, she added, "Sometimes I think I see that man again. The one who watched me at the fair. There's something about him that makes me uneasy. It's like he's waiting for me to fail, to trip up and crumble. It feels heavy." Sam's brow furrowed with concern. "Emily, you are so strong. If he's trying to cloud your light, don't let him. Remember that you've got this team around you now, your music, me, all of it matters more than one specter of doubt." Taking a deep breath, Emily nodded. They finished their session that day with a newfound sense of unity. The warmth of possibility filled the studio as their voices harmonized, blending into something transcendent, a celebration of healing built on the foundation of trust. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, the bond between Sam and Emily grew deeper, intertwined with music and laughter. Samples of their songs started circulating, gaining traction in the community. They received messages from excited fans, friends, and even strangers who connected with their journey. But just as things began to flow, everything came to a halt one crisp evening. Emily received a message that wrenched her stomach. Their recording contract was pulled due to unforeseen complications with the sound engineer. Panic surged within her like icy water. Instantly, the shadows returned, furious and suffocating. "Dad, what are we going to do?" she cried, her palms flying to her hair in frustration. "Take a breath," Sam soothed, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "This doesn't end here. You are the heart of this project. Let us think outside the box. What do we want to do next?" Tears welled in her eyes. "I don't want to let you down, or Mom. You won T." His eyes burned into hers with fierce love. "Remember, we're not just chasing a contract. We're sharing our music, our story, with whoever will listen." A moment passed, heavy yet hopeful. Slowly, Emily felt the slow burn of determination kindling within. "Let us do it ourselves," she stated, surprising even herself. "We can record a simple EP, pick songs that matter to us and share it through social media. Show the world who we are. No limits. That's the spirit," Sam said, pride swelling as he held her gaze, sparking that flame brighter. "Let us pen down our story." And so they did. They treated the recording as their playground, joyful and free. They laughed through the process, shared secrets and dreams, and learned to embrace imperfections. The sense of urgency morphed to excitement, and the music began to shine brighter than ever, fueled by authenticity and heart. As they arranged the final cuts, Sam and Emily stood poised to release their music. The night before launch, they prepared for something that felt bigger than either of them, a chance for their voices to echo in the hearts of those who needed it most. The next morning, buzzing with anticipation, they posted their songs online. Emily's heart raced as they awaited the first reactions. To her astonishment, the feedback was overwhelming. People shared their own stories, of loss and triumph intertwined with their emotions, the chord striking a note of raw resonance. In that magical moment, Emily discovered the true power of vulnerability, the healing that came in sharing. It wasn't about being perfect, it was about connection, the way music became a bridge woven with the tales of life. Overwhelmed with emotion, she turned to Sam, their eyes locking in silent understanding. "Thank you for believing in me," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "No, thank you for believing in yourself," he replied, his heart swelling with pride. "This is just the beginning." And as they pressed play on the first track, Emily knew her path multiplied ahead in vibrant colors and unexpected twists. No longer just a shadow of grief, she was a melody, a voice breaking free, ready to embrace whatever awaited her on the horizon. With every note they sang, every heart they touched, their story unfolded, echoing into eternity, reminding them that they were never really alone. In that moment, hope glimmered brighter than ever, full of possibility. Emily and Sam, armed with love and music, faced the future together. Now it's your turn. If you felt inspired by this transformation, you need to subscribe now and hit that bell for all notifications. Don't wait not even one more second to share this journey with at least 5 friends who need to see this story. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm and let it know you support true stories of hope and connection. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. We want to hear your thoughts. This is the moment to show your support. Join the community and let us keep this beautiful journey going.